Hey, it's me, MLB. Here is chapter 78 of Shattered Image, and this one is titled CIA Mission. And so you can imagine how the next hour and a bit went. Your parents meeting this strange man who had just popped out of nowhere, suddenly offering to pay for your pardon in exchange for your freedom and your assistance with the mission. And after your parents had been notified and details discussed, they were then asked to leave so that you, Sero, and Aizawa could then be sat down to discuss the ins and outs of what was going to happen in the mission. Okay, Mr. Miyagi said as he took a deep breath in and then let it out. I can't tell you all the details, but what I can tell you is that we need someone young, around the same age as our intelligence man. His name is Hobie, so that it looks like he's just hanging out with friends and there's no bodyguards. We don't want him to become more of a target if he has these 3 large burly men with him, and I figured it would look less suspicious if he were travelling with a girl. Well, girl and boy now, he added, nodding towards Sero. So what are we supposed to do? You asked. What's our mission exactly? Well, as I mentioned before, your job is to get him from one dock to the next without being abducted or killed, Mr. Miyagi said. Okay, and if we do run into people who want to do one of those things? You asked. Well, you're heroes in training, are you not? He asked you with a smirk. Yeah, you replied. What would heroes in training do? He then asked. Well, fight them, obviously, you replied. Then do that, he replied with a smirk. We'll have tabs on you and you'll be mic'd up, so if we think you're in trouble, we'll have agents on scene within a second. Okay, you replied with a smirk, as you sat back and crossed your arms across your chest. Seems easy. I should mention, though, Mr. Miyagi added, we're fast-tracking your assessment for anger medication so that we can say everything was in place, he said. So if you need to be medicated, that'll be handed to you by tonight. What? Serious? You deadpanned. And so what? If I use my quirk, that's going to go on my record? Are you currently allowed to use your quirk? He asked. You looked at Aizawa and then he looked at you. Am I? You asked him. We have yet to assess to see how much your body and brain can withstand without your quirk making your condition worse, and also to see if you could use it as a stun gun and not do too much damage to the person you've quirked. He said, Oh, yeah, I haven't had that test yet, you replied, looking from him back to Mr. Miyagi. I suggest you don't then, Mr. Miyagi said. Oh, I have other techniques to use though, you said quickly. I've been training in other capacities. Good to know. He nodded. I've arranged for 2 CIA cars to come here and pick you and Sero up, take you back to your place to get anything you might need, and then you will be brought to headquarters to get mic'd up, and then dropped into town where you will meet up with Hobie. I have already let him know what's going on. He's expecting you. Man, you guys moved fast, you commented, as everyone then stood up, so you joined them. We're the CIA, he replied. Come with me now. You all followed him out into the hall and then outside to where there were 3 black unmarked cars waiting for you, and you hopped into one. Sero hopped into the other, and Aizawa and Mr. Miyagi got in the third. I assume you know where to go? You asked the driver as you got in. He nodded, and then as the other cars in front of you pulled away from the curb, he followed suit, silently driving you back to your house. Man, this is all so wild, you thought as you looked out the window at everything moving by. Who would have thought I'd suddenly end up working with the CIA? Then you had another sudden thought. Wait, the case is over now? Does that mean Hunter and I can be official now? You asked yourself. Oh, and we can kiss now. Your face suddenly felt hot, and you sat back and tried to hide your face as much as possible without looking suspicious. Oh my god, I don't know if I'm ready to kiss him. Am I ready? The driver glanced in the rear view mirror quickly to make sure you were okay, and saw you sitting with a giant grin on your face with your hands covering it. Happy? He mused to himself. The next series of events were a bit of a blur. You got to your house, grabbed some stuff to shove in a bag, got changed, chucked Sero's hoodie on and some pants on, and then said goodbye to your mum and dad and ran back outside to get into the car, and then you were driven to the CIA headquarters where you met with Sero and Aizawa, and then were debriefed and mic'd up, and then you and Sero were put in another CIA car together and driven into town. I'll be dropping you a street over and you'll be walking around to the other side to meet with Hobie. He's in the arcade. Your driver said, It's the least suspicious place to meet. Make it look like you're all meeting up and that it's been planned. You are to slap palms with him and greet him by name. He has already been told your names so that it looks natural. The guy continued. You nodded, a ball of anxiety sitting in your chest. It was while you were still sitting there that Sero slowly slid his hand across the seat beside you both, and his fingertips crept up over yours as you rested your hand beside you. Surprised, you looked down at his hand and then at him, and he glanced at you with a small smirk before looking out the window with a blush on his cheeks, and you let your fingertips interlace with his. You were both keeping your hands low so as not to be seen by your driver, but the fact that you had both gone very quiet and were both looking out your respective windows was very suspicious to him, and he caught sight of your holding hands in the mirror. Oh, I see, he thought with a smirk to himself. A few minutes later, he entered into the city area and dropped you and Sero off at the designated drop point. Head around the corner. There will be guidance from the earpiece, he said before he let you out of the car. You and Sero nodded and then got out of the car onto the sidewalk and waited for the car to leave. You ready? You asked Sero. I guess, he replied. How did I end up in this situation again? Because you want to be with me all the time, through thick and thin, till death do us part, you joked. Yeah, true, he replied, leaning into you a little to nudge you with his shoulder. You snorted and then heard a voice in your ear from the earpiece. Clear for you and Sero to head to the meet point, the voice, who sounded like Mr. Me and I, said into the piece. Let's go, you said to Sero. These earpieces are so small, man, but damn, they're so clear. I know, right? Sero said as he walked beside you. I honestly thought it was going to disappear right into my ear, but somehow it's just sitting right. Yeah, well, that's the CIA for you, you mused. You and Sero crossed the street at the instructions given in your ear, and then kept following the instructions as they led you to the local arcade and you walked in. Head towards the back, Mr. Me and I instructed. Hope you will be playing on the Dance Dance Revolution machine. The code question is, are you going to dance all night on that thing? And he'll reply with, only until your grandpa arrives. Okay, got it, you said, and Sero looked at you. Do we know what he looks like? He asked. Nope, you shrugged. Probably some dweeb-looking kid if he's on Dance Dance Revolution. I can play that though. Sero replied, I'm actually really good at it. Dweeb, you teased him. You're dating a dweeb, he replied with a cheeky grin on his face. Are we dating now? No one's asked me officially, he replied smartly with a smirk. Yeah, just wait till I get you alone, he replied, and your heart fluttered in your chest. Jeez, bro, take it easy, you thought as you headed to the back of the arcade. I'm about to combust here, you making comments like that. And there ends chapter 78, and there ends our 3 chapters for this week. I will see you next week for the continuation of that, and I will see you for more Heard You Like Me. See you then.